Hello everybody, it is I, the Fallout fan, coming at you for the Fallout fan YouTube channel, your place for everything Fallout. And today I got a very special video for you. This one is much more of a deep dive into the character of Joshua Graham, a character that many people love in Fallout, and with fair reason. He's a Bible-wielding badass, and who doesn't love that? But once someone delves deep into the character, one will realize that his so-called fall from grace has a double meaning. Not only did he fail Caesar at the Battle of Hoover Dam, but his transformation to a tribal warlord also marks an almost devolving of his character. But the Fallout fan, what do you mean by this? Well, it is quite simple. Despite living the dream of going to some backwards tribe and becoming accepted as a superior being, and let's face it, that is pretty cool, Joshua Graham turned from slaver to a communist. On the face of it, this seems like a crazy claim, but once you look a little deeper, this becomes clear. We all know the story of his time as legate, so in my video, I will primarily look at his time as leader of the Dead Horses after his fall from grace. Part 1. Who are the Dead Horses? Firstly, we have to look at the Dead Horses in the society. We can see very clearly that the Dead Horses are a tribal community with no money and no division of labor on a capitalist line, i.e. the development of wage labor and with the classes of capitalist and worker. Nor are the Dead Horses a society of peasants working for a landlord, nor are they a slave society. We see from this surface level analysis that the Dead Horses are a society that has a lower level of development than much of the wasteland. But this begs the question, on what lines do the Dead Horses structure their society, as for being backwards does not necessarily mean that one is a communist. Part 2. The structure of the society. We see from the game that the Dead Horses have yet to discover agriculture. What does this mean? To put it simply, they must get their food either from trade or from hunting and gathering. We know the Dead Horses haven't been able to trade with traders from the much more advanced wasteland since the arrival of the war from the Whitelegs. Thus, their source of food must come from hunting and gathering. Without the development of agriculture, there exists no property relations and thus no class in society of the Dead Horses. The Dead Horses society is essentially one of primitive communism. Part 3. What is primitive communism? Let's hear it from the horse's mouth, that demon Friedrich Engels. What an arable constitution this is. No soldiers, gendarmes or policemen, no nobility, no kings or governors, no prefects or judges, no prisons. All are equal and free, including the women. The origin of the family, private property, and state. On the face of it, this seems to contradict our thesis for two reasons. No soldiers and no kings. We will deal with these in order. Firstly, no soldiers. We see in the game that there are seemingly those who have the role of being soldiers, but on closer look we see that these are primarily hunters, and these hunters essentially form a militia in times of crisis. This cannot, in good conscience, be compared to an actual military from any era. There is no organization and no real division of labor, as a soldier as its own separate job. This simply does not exist for the Dead Horses. The division of soldier and hunter hasn't been developed yet. Secondly, no kings or governors. Herein lies a bigger problem, as Joshua Graham seems to fit this bill, but on closer inspection, this is clearly nonsense. Graham only governs the Dead Horses in the time of war, against an external threat. Furthermore, his position as war chief is dependent on the desire of the Whitelegs for said position. The position of Graham is one that was democratically decided by the Dead Horses as a whole, and is subject to recall by this same principle. Furthermore, his tenure as war chief is only based on the special conditions that the Dead Horses find themselves in. Part 4. Conclusions. We see from prior parts that the Dead Horses fit the description of primitive communism, as they have yet to develop property relations and all live in equal freedom in all aspects. Thus, Joshua Graham is the war chief for communism. From this understanding, the conflict in the region becomes clear. Caesar's support of the Whitelegs is the correct position. I am a fan of the NCR, but here I can understand that Caesar's crusade against the communists, in all forms, is the correct position. Tim Kaine, the creator of Fallout, once confirmed that it was the communists that shot first in the war, and for this threat, to never come about again. It is necessary for the dead horses and the sorrows to be completely exterminated. And with that, it's been I, your host, the Fallout Fan, coming at you for the Fallout Fan YouTube channel, your place for all things Fallout. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. And to give me your money at Patreon, because YouTube doesn't like Fallout content on its platform. Stay in the Fallout world, my friends, and I'll see you in the next one.